February 12th, welcome back to Edgework. I'm Zack Phillips, joined here today on this Monday morning following the Super Bowl by Alex B. Smith alongside So Money Sports as well. Here to break down all four NHL games for today, get you back into hockey mode, out of football, transitioning away from that. We get the grand finale. Now it's time to focus our attention back over to the NHL. So we'll get into all the games for today, answer questions in the chat. But before we can do any of that, I want to remind people that today's show, as always, is sponsored by BetStamp. The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is by using multiple sports books and always getting the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp to help you do so. BetStamp compares odds across every sports book, whether it's for games, futures, or player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. So make sure to download the app today. It is available on iOS, Android, as well as on the web. If you are looking to sign up for a new sportsbook account, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/edgework. That's betstamp.app/edgework. If you sign up through this link, it does help support the show. Boys, that is going to be an alarm going off in my apartment building right now, so apologies for that. That's good.
That happens.
Well, Super Bowl is wrapped up. We're back to hockey here, but So Money, you wake up, check the NHL standings. The Canucks still in good positioning there. How are you feeling after this weekend, not just from where the Canucks are at, but with what went on with the Super Bowl?
So it was an interesting Super Bowl for me, right? I had a bunch of bets, but while the game is going on, right? I'm not going to remember the 40 bets I've got placed, right? So I'm watching the game, and then as the game is going on, the bets that I do remember off the top of my head, they're all losing, every single one, right? So I'm sitting there thinking that, oh fuck, this is going to be a massacre today, right? So at the end of the game, when I'm sitting and trying to do my figures for all the settlements today, I'm going through everything, and it was a bad Super Bowl. I lost quite a bit, but it wasn't as massive of a loss as I was envisioning. So that's the silver lining I'm taking away from it. It was a bad day for me yesterday. And it's going to hurt today doing all the settlements, but you know what? It could have been a lot worse. And the Canucks could not be first in the standings right now either. So there's always something that could be worse.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Alex, how was your Super Bowl? And I mean, on Friday, I had to ask you, you brought up the prop, Taylor Swift not shown with a drink. I don't think she was shown on the broadcast with the drink, but she was on the Jumbotron in the stadium. Just curious how that graded as well.
Yeah, that hasn't been graded yet at the book where I placed that. So I'm not sure how they're going to call that. I think that might be a win in my favor, but they did show, like I said, on the Jumbotron, and then they showed her before the kickoff having a drink in her hand. So, that's the weird thing. That's the reason why you don't get these props in Nevada and a lot of jurisdictions, because it's hard for them to gauge that, even though they can go back and look at film like any offshore book does. But they got enough to grade. Like so many said, there's hundreds and hundreds of things that you could bet on yesterday, and the books have way more to deal with from on the field stuff than off the field. And it's funny you mentioned things like that, because Kyle Juszczyk, getting that second catch, I had him over 2 or more receptions. That second catch that was clearly not a catch, I was very grateful to get that one called and have that one graded as a win. So that's the weird thing about some of these props. You have to really be diligent and stuff, and you have to make sure the books check with their sportsbook rules. You should do that all the time. Whatever you're betting on, check with your sportsbook rules, because things can change, and you want to know those different nuances. And so some people were waking up thinking they had a winner, had a loser, and vice versa with some of these props.
All right, I know it's a hockey show. That was a catch. I'm firmly that was a catch. That that was a catch.
Yeah, well, you're right. Right. Well, I mean, like I said, everybody was going back and forth. I thought it was a catch too. It looked like a clean catch to me, but then you see it from another angle, and it's a little iffy. And so, like I said, I'm glad it counted, and I'm glad that the Niners ran the ball quickly after that, so that wouldn't get reviewed by the booth, which should have been reviewed. In the Super Bowl, that kind of magnitude of play, that should have been a booth call right away, whether it's a catch or not. So I think that's debatable.
They did change the rule on that. It reminds me of the year I had the Cowboys futures against the Packers game and the Des Bryant catch, right? So
I still remember that. Pizzola's not watching right now, otherwise he's going on his way into Lake Ontario right now.
Yeah, he would know that well.
All right, well, let's get into the hockey games for tonight. If you're watching right now, you haven't already, please hit that like button here on the stream. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers here. That's the next goal. So continue to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We do have a watch along coming up here on Thursday nights. First watch along, and we got a double whammy. We're trying to figure out right now a way to get a Habs jersey, but I'll be on the live watch along wearing a Habs jersey and paying my debts to So Money with the one chip challenge. So should be a lot of fun for myself. But as for this weekend, we go 3-3 on the bets given it. This alarm. I got a notification like 5 minutes before the alarm started saying, "Hey guys, there's fire alarm testing going on." And I'm like, this started 15 minutes before the show started, so that was perfect.
Apartments couldn't give a damn about what we do recording things in our apartments. I mean, my building's notorious for doing stuff like this on the regular, so I get it.
Yeah. So apologies to everyone listening, and apologies to you guys, So Money and Alex. But yeah, well,
we got
like 15 minutes.
When I was living downtown, we used to get to a point where where like the alarm would go off and I just wouldn't give a shit. Like I would just stay there. Like just if I'm doing my work, if I'm gonna die in a fire doing my work, that's fine.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. But the thing I feel bad about is being on here or doing recordings or something, and then like this thing's just going. Anyways, 3-3 on Saturday of the best bets that were given out across the show from all the creators Monday through Friday. That gets tweeted out there. Those are all tracked in the BetStamp app as well in the Find Better section. That'll bring our record on this year 230, 226, and 5. That's 461 bets so far given out this season on this show. And we're at a 6.8% ROI, up 31 units. So still continuing to be a very strong season. Very strong season for us here as the Edgework crew. We'll look to continue that here, especially as we shift away from football and get our attention back all the way onto the NHL. Obviously, we've been doing that, but I mean, the general focus, and from everyone in the chat, we'll flip over to the NHL here. So we'll start with the 4 games tonight, and that'll land us in Philadelphia, where the Flyers are hosting the Arizona Coyotes. The Flyers coming in -145, the Coyotes +135, and a total of 6 right now. So, Money, what do you make of this line where it's currently sitting at and this total? You're seeing some 5.5s out there as well. A lot of 5.5s, actually, but you do see Pinnacle out to the 6.
So if you asked me a couple of weeks ago about this number, I would have told you that the Flyers are significantly inflated here. But I've been impressed with how they've responded as a young team to some adversity this year, right? They did drop in play, and you would think that a young team who's played drops, it would just continue throughout the season. But they've been able to curb their dips here, which is very impressive. So I think that I've got it fair. You could make an argument that the Flyers are a bit inflated, but the way that both teams are playing, the way that they're headed, I think it's fair. And the Flyers, they probably will be around all year, right? Like if they were gonna fade, it would have happened already for a young team like this. So I think that unless if they decide around the trade deadline that they're going to be sellers, which they probably should be and they could be, I think that they'll be around the whole year, and it's not a team against a team like Arizona that I want to get in front of right now.
All right, fair enough there. So we'll leave that. Alex, is there anything that you're looking at in this game?
I might be leaning toward a Flyers team total over, especially if we get confirmation of Karel Vejmelka in net for Arizona. He has struggled mightily this year compared to what we saw from him last season, the year before. And like I said, so many alluded to, this is a Philly team. They're not going to go away. They're going to be competitive every night. Now, whether they are still in the playoff race in some time, heading into March and April, that remains to be seen. But they're going to be competitive every night. And Tortorella, we know he's always going to preach defense. So I'm a little scared of even going with a 5.5 or a 6 for the full game. I would be leaning a little bit more toward Philly team total, especially grabbing a little plus price. So I might go a half unit with that. Philly Flyers team total over that 3.5.
All right, so we go Flyers team total over 3.5 plus 128. That is best price available. We'll go half unit on that. And again, we will recap all these at the very end of the show, so don't worry. Stick around for that as well. Follow us on the BetStamp app in the Find Better section. as Edgework HQ, plus 128, half unit there. We'll continue to move on for the games tonight.
Fight through it,
Oh,
Zach.
sorry, guys.
Battle through it. Let's go.
I'm fighting. We'll continue to move on for the games for tonight. We do have 3 more remaining here. And again, if you do have questions in the chat, please send them in there. We'll try to answer them throughout the course of the show here. But next, moving on to the Rangers-Flames game, where the Rangers are hosting Calgary, currently coming in minus 150. The Flames are plus 136 and a total of 6 right now. Some 6.5s out there, plus money to the over on those. Alex, what are your thoughts on this game tonight and where this line currently sits? Mute, Alex.
There we go. You hear me now? All right. So we got a Calgary team. Got a Calgary team that has been playing well on the road. They've won the last 5 games away from Calgary, and that's something that's important for a team that's trying to fight and grab. They want to get to that wild card spot, which they got a lot of climbing and clawing to do. But you got to find wins on the road. Ask teams like Colorado and Tampa Bay how it looks when they can't find wins outside of your home arena. And they're taking on a Ranger team that's been solid right out of the break, kind of picking up to where they left off before that little bit of a slump. And that's what we talked about with the break. Some teams need that readjustment time. And I think that's what we're seeing from the Rangers. So this is going to be a good, close back and forth battle. 2 of the last 3 meetings have gone past regulation. So I was able to find a plus 340 at Caesars. I like the draw here in this spot. Draw season has kind of cooled off a little bit, even though we saw it yesterday in the Super Bowl. But I think we're going to see some closer games on the ice this week, this being one.
All right, so we'll go with the regulation time draw there between the Rangers and the Flames. Alex, we see best price available, plus 334. Would you play full unit on this, half unit? How would you go about it?
Yeah, that's still worthy of a full unit.
All right, so we'll go full unit there, plus 334, best price available. So money, where are you coming in on this game tonight?
Yeah, so the Rangers have the optional skate going right now. It looks like Igor's going to start in net, which is okay, I guess. So so Calgary, right? Like so the Flames they're on a little bit of a streak here, right? And as Alex mentioned, they still have a lot of climbing to do. Now I'm interested to see where Calgary management view themselves in this situation, because they have gotten themselves into the playoff race, but they should still be sellers at the trade deadline, right? Like we've talked about this many times. You don't want to be the team that finishes 8th to 10th every year, right? And even if Calgary makes the playoffs, they're going to be the 8th seed. If they don't make the playoffs and they're not sellers, they're going to be the 9th or 10th seed, right? So you just don't want to be there. So I'm interested to see where management sees this team, and if they're delusional or not. For the Rangers, they've been getting wins, and it's the goaltending that really sticks out. Obviously, Igor is your number one. He's going to be, if he's healthy, he's going to be the game 1 starter in the playoffs, right? But I mean, at some point you need the wins too, right? And Quick right now is the better option, right? So I'm impressed with the way that the Rangers are handling the situation. It would have been very easy to just keep throwing Igor out there and just hoping that he gets better. But they do have an option in Quick now, a surprising option, but he's there and he's been playing well. And you are able to give Igor some time off here and there, more than you normally would, just to see if he can get his game back, which I would think that he eventually will. For the game tonight, I did want to bet the Rangers, but I think that we're fair. Calgary, I'm not sold on their streak here, and they are going to be hitting. They are stepping up in class here against the Rangers. So, and we're at the end of a road trip. I'm interested to see Calgary's legs here as well. So, I'll pass on this game. I would like the Rangers, but we're in range though.
All right, so not playable here for us at that point, but we will play the regulation time draw plus 334. So 2 best bets so far for today. 2 games gone through, 2 games remaining. Next up, we got the New Jersey Devils hosting the Seattle Kraken tonight. New Jersey minus 126, the Kraken plus 125. There's a pretty good reason right there why you should be shopping around, trying to get the best prices available, as well as a total of 6.5 in this game. So, Money, I'll go back to you here. This Kraken team on the road, plus 125 coming into New Jersey. What are your thoughts on where this game is currently sitting at and where this total is?
So we do have a bet here. So they are on the ice right now. Vanacek is not skating. It's going to be Daw starting in net, um, which is good in the sense that based on what Vanacek has been giving for the most part this year, um, the the change to DAWs cannot be as big of a downgrade as what the market is indicating right now. So Seattle did just take some money after DAWs was confirmed. So we can go ahead and lock in the Devils. This Seattle money brought the Devils in range for me. So Devils money line, even with Dawes and net, I've got it up to minus 130 here. So we are good to lock that in. Seattle. Well, let's talk about the Devils first, right? They offensively they still drive play. Offensively, they still generate chances. Where they're getting hurt is that they've really dipped this year defensively from where they were last year, and of course the goaltending that we've talked about. It's not the same caliber goaltending that they're getting. So with when we take out Vanacek and the poor goaltending or the inconsistent goaltending that he's provided all year, and we replace him with literally anybody else that we can get a NHL like an average NHL caliber goalie, that's an upgrade for me, right? So that's the reason why there's the edge that's opened up on the Devils here. And then for Seattle, they're an inconsistent up and down team, right? So even if the Devils are getting average NHL goaltending, I don't think that Seattle is capable the way that they're playing right now to be able to keep up with the Devils offense. So I think that we have an edge created on the Devils, and that's why I'm on the Devils tonight.
Devils minus 126 on the money line. So Money, I'm gonna ask you. You said some money came in on Seattle there. We get the Devils within range. Do you foresee more money continuing to come in on Seattle? Is there going to be a point you think it might stop? Are we going to get better numbers on New Jersey? What are your thoughts on kind of where this line might move throughout the day here?
No, I don't think it is going to get better for the Devils. I think that initial money that came in was directly in response to just looking at the timing of the when the news came out and when the money hit. That was directly in relation um, to the to the goaltending information. So that initial money came in, and I think that's probably going to be the end of it, because if there was more money, it would have kept going, right? And we
Right.
stopped, and then that's when I wanted to get in. So the timing worked out perfectly. Uh, a lot of times we get screwed because like we're like talking and the news is coming in, and I'm trying to monitor the market, but
Yeah.
like this way, this time it worked out perfectly for us.
All right, well, we'll take it then. Lock in the Devils money line minus 126. Alex, where are you at with this game tonight?
I was looking more toward the totals, the first period and full game over. I haven't fired anything yet because I also want to see who's going to be a net officially for Seattle. I've saw some rumblings that it could be Philip Grubauer getting the start. They're going to have to kind of mix and match with their goaltending a little bit with kind of carrying around three goalies to give some guys some fair amount of time. But as so many said, New Jersey, they still drive the fight offensively. Styles make fights, so. Seattle, even though they've had some tough times offensively, I think they could find their scoring touch here in this game. We can see some back and forth action. So nothing official for me yet, but I am looking toward both the first period and full game overs in that contest.
All right, well, there you go. 3 games, 3 best bets. I'll leave this up to you guys and somebody, I guess, specifically because you're the one who did make the bet. Matt Narode here in the chat asking, how does Seattle's goalie news impact this? Do we wait for this? Obviously, we fired away. We placed the bet here. But could you talk a little bit about the Seattle news that might come out throughout the course of the day here, and then how that might affect things?
Yeah, so my number is predicated on the court starting, right? And with the court starting, I like New Jersey at this number. Obviously, if he doesn't start, then we're in a better equity position here. So if it is Grubauer, then our ticket's more valuable. But I am assuming that that the court is starting.
All right, there you go. Hopefully that helps, Matt. And again, if you do have questions throughout the shows, whether it is about futures, if it's about the games that we're talking about that day, please remember, send them in the chat there. We'll try to answer them throughout. And if you haven't already, hit that like button on today's stream as well as subscribe to the channel. But 3 games down, 3 best bets given out. Let's get to the final game of the day where the Vegas Golden Knights are hosting the Minnesota Wild. Vegas minus 135, the Wild plus 125. And we see a total right now of 5.5. There are some 6s sitting around. But Alex, where do you come in on this game? You have any thoughts? Maybe a little bit of a hangover after the Super Bowl in Vegas there last night?
Yeah, I've seen that in the comment too. I said, oh, maybe it could be a sleepy start because these guys were all out and about, enjoying the festivities. If there's one team I trust out of the two, it would be the home club. They obviously live in Vegas. They've been there. They've dealt with that before. Now, obviously, haven't dealt with a Super Bowl in town, but I still don't think that, these are still professionals at the end of the day. And if there's one team that could come out sluggish, it would probably be Minnesota, the visiting team, been there for a couple of days. I like goals early in this contest. Vegas has gone 7-3 to the first period over in their last 10 games, despite being trending as an under team for the majority of the year. We're getting a cheap enough price point here. Anything at $1.25 or cheaper, I would go in on this, and we could see some sloppy play rather than sleepy play in the first period. That's what I'm kind of anticipating a little bit more. So I think we see goals here. I think we can get 2 or more. I'm not sure from what side. More likely Vegas. A Vegas 2-0 first period wouldn't shock me one bit, but I like the first period over here with the Wild and Knights.
Well, make sure to line shop there as well. If you see sportsbooks up on the screen right now that you don't have, make sure to head over to betstamp.app/edgework to sign up for those. It helps support us here, and maybe you can get some access to some better prices. Obviously, you can see all the minus 113 all the way up to minus 120, 125s out there. So shop around and get the best price available, but we'll lock that in. First period over 1.5, minus 113. So, Money, what are your thoughts on tonight's game?
I do like the game under. So I'm kind of hoping that we get a 1-1 score in the first period here, and then no goals the rest of the way. But I'm a little hesitant to bet on this under right now, just because we look at the 5.5s, right? That's what's predominantly out there, and even at the 5.5 with plus money. When we talk about playing under 5.5, so I've always mentioned this, like it needs to be a very special situation for both teams going perfectly a certain way, right? Minnesota is Minnesota fits the bill of a team that I want to bet 5 on, that I want to bet under 5.5 on. Vegas doesn't, right? And Alex was talking about this, and like we see it in like the game scores that like Vegas is still generating enough chances, right? And like they're not scoring as much as they should be based on how much they're generating, but I think that's going to start coming around. So even though I lean under 5.5, I'm not going to bet it just because I want to see like if I'm right, it's only a matter of time before Vegas starts filling the net. So I will pass on it right now, even though that plus money on a 5.5 looks great. But we will not be betting that right now.
All right. Well, there you go. That'll do it for today's best bets. Looking through these games, we go 4 games, 4 best bets for everybody. So you get a little bit of action in each, and hopefully some information that you can take away to maybe help you throughout the course of the day here as well. But to recap the bets that we've given out, you can find all these over in the BetStamp app in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ. So you can see how we've done on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. You want to see this season, you want to add it to last season and see how we've done, you can head over there and check that out as well. But for 4 bets for tonight's game, we'll start first and foremost in the Flyers-Arizona game, where we're going to take the Flyers team total over 3.5, half unit on this at plus 128. Then we're going to go to the Rangers-Flames game, where we've got the regulation time draw, full unit there on that, plus 334. Then we'll go Devils money line against the Seattle Kraken, minus 126. And finally, the Wild Golden Knights game, over 1.5 first period total, minus 113, full unit on that as well. That'll do it for today's bets, for today's show. So Money, Alex, I appreciate you guys doing this, getting up after the Super Bowl. Hopefully your mornings weren't too rough or too early. I appreciate you guys taking the time to do this. I appreciate you sticking through this as well as the alarm was going off in the background here. Let's hope that that doesn't happen again anytime soon, or I'm going to be down in the lobby throwing hands with the people who are setting that off. So hopefully that's a one-time occurrence, but thank you guys very much. Thanks to everyone in the chat who stuck through this as well. We do appreciate you. Enjoy the games tonight. We have a lot of stuff coming up throughout the course of the day here on the Hammer. First of all, 1 o'clock over on the Circles Off YouTube channel. Rob and Johnny doing a live recap reaction to the Super Bowl and this past week, everything that went down. That'll be at 1 o'clock over on the Circles Off YouTube channel in studio there. And then immediately following them over on the Forward Progress account, you can find a full recap of this season, break down everything that went on of the NFL season. So check out the Forward Progress crew at 2 o'clock. So 1, roll you right over into 2, and then that'll help get you even closer to the games here tonight, where we gave you 4 best bets for tonight's NHL game. So enjoy the rest of the content throughout the course of the day. Make sure to stop by Circles Off and Forward Progress for different shows coming out across those as well. Enjoy the games tonight. We'll see everyone back here tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Good luck on your bets.